Okay, everybody, 100 years of losing, 0 Tour de France wins. Bike companies wouldn't even sell them gear, they were so bad. One guy changed everything at one point, not with a really big, massive overhaul, but with 1% marginal improvements across everything that they had control over. David Brailsford was appointed performance director of the British cycling team in 2003. Remember, they had been losing for 100 years. They were horrible. They were kind of the laughing stock of the Tour de France and the biking world. And he came in with a new philosophy. If you haven't heard it, it was called aggregation of marginal gains. The idea was to break everything down that went into riding a bike and improve each piece by 1%. And then there's this compounding effect that is just big. It's a massive change on everything that's happening in the organization. And so he came in and started changing some more obvious things, like they redesigned the bike seats to make them more comfortable so they could ride on them longer without it hurting their rear ends. They put rubbing alcohol on the tires to give them better grip. They added electrically heated shorts to keep their muscles warm while they were riding in cold events. They put on biofeedback sensors on their athletes so they could see what was going on. They used a wind tunnel to test their fabrics and switched to lighter, more aerodynamic suits so that they could go a little bit faster. But they also did some things that nobody really expected, that no one thought would make a difference. First, they tested different massage gels for faster muscle recovery. Remember, Tour de France, they're riding a long distance every single day, so they have to recover quickly. So they started applying different massage gels to make that better. They hired a surgeon to teach proper hand washing so that they could avoid getting sick, because what would happen is one guy would get sick and then multiple people would get sick, and soon the whole team was sick and they couldn't perform. And so they learned how to wash their hands like a surgeon washes their hands before surgery so that they would spread less germs. They found the best pillow and mattress for each athlete. And so they would do sleep tests, find out which things worked the best, and then they actually would put the mattresses in a truck, and that truck would follow them around at the races, go ahead, go to the hotel, swap the mattresses out so that each athlete could have a good night's sleep for the next day. Pretty amazing, right? They also added individual washing machines for each athlete so rashes wouldn't spread, and on and on. So they just made all these little changes that made a big difference. And what the results were pretty incredible. In 2008, remember, he started in 2003. By 2008, just 5 years later, they won 60% of available gold medals at the Beijing Olympics. In 2012, at the London Games, they set 9 Olympic records and 7 world records. And in that time frame, in 6 years, they won 5 Tour de France titles, along with 178 world championships in a 10-year span. So they basically went from 0 to the greatest cycling dynasty in history. And for his work, he was knighted, and he is now called Sir David Brailsford. Now, I hope they gave him a sword or something cool for that. Like that's pretty amazing that he was able to do that with his organization. But the big idea here is that this concept applies to everything, including your car wash. If we can find 1% changes that we can make, it makes a big impact over time. And it can really improve your operations, not only from the customer service that you provide or the customer experience, but also in your people. And I'm going to give you a few tips how you can apply this to your car wash that will make it a very powerful tool for you. The first thing that I would do is I would roll this program out with your team and tell the story of Sir Dave, right? Maybe wear a night outfit, I don't know, but tell this story to your team. Say, hey, this is what they did. This is what they were able to accomplish. And we're going to do the same thing, but we need your help. And I would give them a way so that your team can submit ideas where if they're working the tunnel, there's some things that aren't going as well as they want them to go. So here's some ideas of things I think can make us 1% better. Or if they're at the pay station or in the vacuum lot or whatever it is, give them a forum where they can submit ideas to make things 1% better. You want them to be very specific with those and submit them so that you can take those ideas and start to implement them. But just don't implement them on your own. If someone submitted that idea, I recommend that you make them the champion of that idea and have them help implement the idea. When they do that, they will feel like they're making a true impact on the business and that they are able to help initiate change to make things better. They'll latch onto that. They'll love it. It makes them feel like they are part of the team. And so once you do that, as ideas are given to the team and you take those ideas and those ideas are implemented, reward the people who submit ideas that are implemented. Call them out in your meetings. Help them understand that these things are important and the impact that it has on the culture and the business. So that brings me down to the challenge here, what we think that everybody should be doing. Before your next team meeting, do a little more research about 1% marginal gains, study a little bit, find out what they did to make this cycling team better, present it to your team, and show them that this can be done in the car wash too, and help them be active in the participation of it. You will be surprised at what kind of ideas your team comes to the table with. They have good ideas. They might just be afraid to say them because maybe they think they're wrong. I don't know. But just give them an opportunity to do this. And that's how you will build a better team, a better car wash, and a better mousetrap to keep your customers coming in and feeding your business.